open. But the beauty of a platform like this is for us to all experiment different things and improve our public speaking and leadership skills opportunities. Some room etiquette. Please ensure all phones are on silence, please. Also, if you need to use the toilet, just opposite to the other side of the room, the toilet is over there. Drinking waters, you also have that down corridor there if you need some water to drink. And at some moment, we're going to be taking some pictures, which are going to be strictly used for the club's publicity on our social media platforms like LinkedIn. So at this moment, I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm going to be calling on stage the Toastmaster of the day for today. And as you all tend to know, we are in a special mode. This should be going for someone lovely. We're smiling there. Maybe for you. Oh, you're not smiling enough. I want some smiling faces. So join me on stage as I call on stage the Toastmaster of the day. Emma, over to you, sir. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing?
Good.
Thank you, Ola, for the introduction. It's my pleasure to be your Toastmaster of the day. I will be your Toastmaster, and my responsibility would be to conduct a meeting. And first time, as Ola mentioned, so I'm looking forward to it. So before we introduce to the theme of today, I would mention the agenda of today's meeting. Today's meeting, and this is only for the guests to know how the meeting would be conducted. The agenda for today's meeting would be in 3 parts. First would be a table topic presentation. So you would be, few excited colleagues from you would be called upon to talk about the table topic. That would be the first part. Second would be the prepared speeches. We have members who have prepared speeches and who would be presenting on stage. And the third would be the evaluation. So we have divided the session in 3 parts. That's the theme, that's the topic for today. Now I would call upon stage the role players to introduce themselves. So I would call upon Ola, who would be the timer of it.
Mr. Timer, I stand in front of you tonight. At Toastmasters, we tend to believe time is money, and we all have to value our time while speaking on stage. So put yourself in that structure. For the 3 segments we're having, the first segment is the table topic segment. You expected to speak between 1 to 2 minutes for you to be voted or to be evaluated. And you also have the grace to speak for additional 30 minutes in between. So when you see my green card, it means you're right on point and you've been able to speak for exactly 1 minute. My yellow card, it means you've been able to speak for 1.5 minutes, which is right on. But by the time you see my red card, be ready to leave the stage, which means you have only 30 seconds to round up. For the prepared speeches, we are having different time allocations for different speeches they are given based on the pathway they're running. For the icebreaker, we're going to be having 4 to 6 minutes. So icebreaker man, boom. When you see my green, it means you're on 4 minutes. When you see my yellow, it means you're on 5 minutes. And when you see my red, start rounding up. Not to worry. We always want to ensure we keep to time. Toastmasters. Fellow Toastmasters, I hand over back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Ola. Thank you, Ola, for introduction of the role. So timer. Now I call upon stage grammarian who would explain the role of the grammarian. Uche.
Thank you, Herman. So I have quite an easy role today. I simply have to pick the word of the day and introduce it to you guys. And today our word of the day is serendipity. It's a noun and it means the occurrence and development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way. So I often say the phrase sweet serendipity, like, wow, that happened. So that's it for me as a grammarian today. Try to use the word of the day in your speech, either table topic or whichever speech you're delivering, if it's possible. You get extra points. Thank you.
Thank you, Uche. And as you mentioned, it is actively encouraged to use the word of the day in your speech when you come on stage. So yes, now we move to today's theme topic. Today's topic is finding true love. I see a few nervous faces. Don't worry. I'm going to make you more nervous now. Yes. So tomorrow is a very important day, and I know that most of you have things planned for tomorrow. Right. So who is expecting gifts for tomorrow? No? Only Julian. No, come on.
Maybe I expected to give out.
Okay, that's the next question. Who is expecting gift planned for tomorrow? It can't be just members. Eric, I see you. Yeah. Okay, so next serious question. The next serious question is, who has found true love? Anyone? Don't worry, I'm not going to call you on stage. Okay, good. So I've got these flowers for someone really special in the meeting room. Any guess who could that be? Me. Agent? Right. No. So I've got these flowers for my children. Yeah. So, finding true love begins with self-care and self-love. If you do not love yourself, no one is going to love you. If you are not going to respect yourself, no one is going to respect you. If you are not going to be happy with yourself, you are not going to be happy with anyone else. They say you can't pour from an empty cup. Right? So with me, repeat after me. I am awesome.
I am awesome.
I am loved. I am enough. Right. Give a round of applause for yourself. And now we start with our statement topics. I'll begin again the statement topic for tonight. Thank you.
Hi. Okay, so love is an interesting word. It's an interesting topic overall, can be triggering. So today's theme is finding true love, and I am the table topics master. And what I do is I have a list of questions here and some people to deliver speeches. And you come up on stage and I give you the question. You've got 1 to 2 minutes, as Ola mentioned, and then we do that, for about 10 questions or so. So love is an interesting word. And actually, before we start, I'm going to present to you my favorite book about love, because by no coincidence, I was actually reading this when Ola messaged me. I need everyone to read this book at some point in their life. It's called All About Love by Bell Hooks. Now, in this book, she defines love as a verb, right? An action, a doing word. And she says, love is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own and another's spiritual growth. So for the first question, I'd like to welcome on stage Lee. So Lee, my question to you is, what does love mean to you?
Well, this is true serendipity for me to stand here and talk about love. What does love mean to me? Love means passion. Love to me means fire in my belly. Love to me means heartbreak. Love to me also means rejection and all the negative things that happen as a result of falling in love. Love also means finding your true self, finding your passion for what you need to do in life to be truly happy. Finding love also means surrounding yourself with people that care about you. Not only you, but your ideas, your passions, and your ideals. Finding love, for me, is commitment. Okay, commitment to show love to your loved ones. A commitment to be your true self around your loved ones. Commitment to be your true self at all times. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Lee. In your speech, I like that you touched on different types of love. You talked about self, talked about family, and the ancient Greeks describe, they say there's 7 types of love. You know, everyone has their own theories. You know, there's friendship love or platonic love, there's romantic love, there's apparently erotic love, just different to romantic love, but that's up to the Greeks. You know, so there's also self-love, which I'll touch on later. So my next question is for Lola. So Lola, related to any type of love. Lola, this is for you. There you go. Related to any type of love, tell me a loving thing that you did for someone in the last 24 hours.
24 hours.
Good time.
It's actually quite terrible that I haven't got an example. Would it be a good example to think about my feelings towards other people as being an example of love?
Yeah.
I like to think that my way of connecting with people is very much from my truth, from the loving self. And I think if I can just connect with someone there, then that is giving love, that is doing a loving thing, because I can see people through compassion and through connection. And yeah, I think that is love. And if that's all I did in the 24 hours, I think I'm all right with that. Who have I connected with? Okay, so I work in a restaurant and I serve people there. And yeah, and it's part of my job to make sure they have a beautiful experience. So that is love, because again, we're giving to them from a good place. And yeah, so those people, it's in the people that I've seen and the way to work or leaving work, and I've said nice things and felt nice things towards them. Yeah. I can't even think what I've done in the last day, which is funny. What have I done in the last day? I think I've mostly given love to myself in the last day.
I love that. Thank you. I could scream about self-love all day, but I think everyone's tired of hearing me talk about it. Again, back to bell hooks. She quotes, "But many of us seek community solely to escape the fear of being alone. Knowing how to be solitary is essential to the art of loving." Back to self-love. "When we can be alone, we can be with others without using them as a means of escape." So question 3 is for AJ. Would you like to come up on the stage? Hi, AJ.
Hi.
My question to you is, what's your favorite thing to do in solitary as an art of showing love to yourself?
So
There you go.
thanks. It would be many forms. So maybe like having a day to myself, going for a walk, maybe buying like my favorite food, going to a cinema, or painting. I like painting. I like photography, and I'm not sure what else, but yeah, maybe other forms of self-care to demonstrate to myself that, yeah, I can have this day to myself and just relax, because sometimes we all have like busy lives, and even if you don't have a busy life, it can get overwhelming, and you can do a lot for yourself, I'd say. I can also say that with self-love, it can come in different forms. So maybe like the people you hang out with, you know, what you do, how you take care of yourself, how your body, your mind, and, you know, if I try and practice better habits like I've been doing lately, then yeah, then makes you happy and just elevates your mood. I don't know what else to say, because I've been thinking about self-love a lot, and I don't really show that to myself enough. I think in like the past year or two, I've been overworking, I've just been I don't know, just doing a lot of hours at my job, and in November, I told them that, like, would you reduce my shifts just because it's getting a bit overwhelming for me? I guess like people would ask me to take shifts or swap shifts, and I'd say yes, but I didn't really want to say yes. And then that caused like a lot of like built up resentment. And I think I was just trying to like please other people, but I just wasn't taking care of myself. It was more about making money for me and not really resting. And since I've not been doing as many hours, I've been feeling a lot better.
Excellent. Well done, AJ. I think using two microphones. I think it's important that we're true to ourselves. So well done for setting those boundaries and sticking to them. So I'm Nigerian, if you can't tell. I think we have a couple Nigerians in here. And I come from a tribe called the Igbo people. So it's like one of the biggest tribes. And in my language, when we say I love you, we say Ahụrụ m gị n'anya. And it directly translates to I see you in your eyes. Like, and if you were to say it to someone, I can see you in your eyes. It's the exact same phrase. So my next question comes to someone who has found love. So Zubair, would you like to come up?
To be honest with you, I didn't think it'd be my first time.
Of course, it's a lot of people's first time. So
Sorry, what was the question?
my question to you is, what do you see in your partner's eyes?
Easy question.
Well, we've been married 13 years, and obviously we have good times, sometimes argument. Overall, I think when you feel more for someone than you do for yourself, that would be love, you know, as well as my wife, my daughters as well. So that's why I come here, but I need to improve. And someone that cares for you, that someone what we want anything for you. Someone you're going to be with for the yeah, okay. Do you want to ask me something?
No, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, I suppose this is good because at least first time, you know, at least I'll have to improve, obviously. So what's more about the law? Yeah.
What do you see in her eyes?
Yeah, but we both love each other. Don't want kids. I'm not a loving person. Yeah, respect. You know, we respect each other. We, like I said, we have 4 daughters, so obviously we love them as well. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I mean, you feel comfortable, safe in each other. You know, there's never any. Like I said, you know, now and again you have your little tics. She tells me off now and again. Obviously, otherwise we get pretty well. To be honest with you. I think it's not just physical or emotional; it's just everything about it. You know, getting on with each other, being able to communicate, understanding the other person's feelings, communicating. Is that?
Yeah.
do better, Dave.
Oh, no, you did great. Thank you. I genuinely love hearing from people who, are just in, long-term relationships. I don't know if you could say successful because I don't know, but, it sounds it. So my next question is for someone of a similar profile. I can see you laughing, Grace. Would you like to come up on stage? Iris, I understand you are also in a happy relationship.
Married, yeah. Unhappily married, yeah.
I need to pick these words carefully. So my question is, what piece of advice would you give to someone who is on a quest to find true love?
Ooh, nice. I like that. I think that it's important not to look too hard. That must be a real, kind of, it might sound about cheesy, but just not look too hard. I think I spent quite a few years being quite scientific about it, so I was online, I was speed dating, I was blind, I was doing all these things and really looking at it in a kind of way that, really kind of logical, methodological way about looking at it. And I think the most important thing is kind of not to do too much of that. I ended up meeting my wife just very much by chance, and in passing in a place I wouldn't have expected it to happen. So yeah, I think it's kind of maybe just let go too much of today. People have become far too kind of prescriptive about it, and they think you've got to be doing this, you've got to be doing that, and there's certain ways to do it, and it's maybe just let fate or chance take its take its kind of play its part as well. All right, thanks.
They make it sound so easy. Thank you so much for that, Race. Have you guys all heard about the love languages, the 5 love languages? I can see some heads nodding. So the 5 love languages, as with many things written about love, are quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, receiving gifts, and physical touch. I always get confused sometimes because I'm always like, my way of giving sometimes it's different to my way of receiving love or my preferred way of receiving love. So my next question comes to Ortega. Would you like to come up on stage? Sorry. So thinking along the lines of the love languages, what is your preferred way of giving or showing love?
Hi, everyone. So my name's Ortega, and I'm here to talk to you about my love languages, or not mine per se, but how I might give or receive love languages. So this is something that I've thought about for quite a while because I read the book, I think a couple of years ago. And I think my personal ways of receiving love are, number one, words of affirmation. I like to feel like the person who I'm with really believes in me and can really motivate me when I'm not feeling myself, or motivate me to reach the heights that I possibly might believe I'm kind of close to getting, but I just need that little bit of a push. And then the second one for me is acts of service, because we all have busy lives, don't we? So if you go home today, put your hands up if you would love if someone had cooked you dinner. Okay, yeah, like I would love it if someone had cooked me dinner if I went home today. So those little things, when you can't do them yourself or when someone else does them for you, just makes your life feel a lot more easier. I think those would be like my top 2 for receiving personally. And I think I'm such a lovely person. Whatever love language the person told me they would like to receive it, I would be happy to give it out. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Ortega. So back to my book, please. I hope everyone starts reading it tomorrow morning. Bell Hooks talks about the 7 components of love. She lists them as care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, trust, and open and honest communication. I'd like to welcome Lei Yi for the next question. Hi, Lei Yi. So of those 7 components, care, affection, recognition, respect, commitment, trust, and open and honest communication, which 2 of these resonate with you, and share with us why?
True is I don't think I really do any of them because like I don't really trust. I only reason is that like doing them things because I don't think I love myself, and then it's come up yet. I don't think I've been love myself like past so many years, so I can't love people. So yeah, but I'm learning. So I'm starting like try to give more and then try to love myself more. So that's why I'm here tonight and start to learn more things. I didn't think about it, just like I just try and join a different class and then give myself more time, working less and doing more things. Maybe start more traveling, doing different places, and then yeah, that's it.
That was the most surprise I've ever seen anyone for recalling the name. So round of applause for coming up. Well done, well done. I like that you said you were open with us about loving yourself and taking action towards doing that. So for the next question, I'd like to welcome Jamie. So hi, Jamie. So what would you say you love the most about yourself and why?
It's a good question. Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie. Nice to meet you all. Funnily enough, this is actually a kind of journey that I've kind of started recently anyway. I write a lot about like kind of my, suppose, feelings, and like how I can develop. And funnily enough, I was talking to Lucy earlier, and a way that I think that I could start to love myself is by giving myself more self-confidence. One of the ways that I do that is by pushing myself out of my comfort zone. So for example, this is one of those things, a massive area of self-development for me. Another thing that I randomly did recently was I joined the salsa class with absolutely no dancing history at all, which was terrifying, and I would recommend it to all of you. But yeah, I think that's a big area of self-love. If you can be self-confident, then you can love yourself. I don't really know. On my action plan is to just keep doing random stuff that takes me completely out of my comfort zone. Like 2023 is a big year of action for me. And I think I'd encourage a lot of other people to do it as well. Because I think if you can be uncomfortable, you can be comfortable in a lot more areas of your life.
Thank you so much for that, Jamie. I really enjoyed it. So our last question for today is for Eric. Eric, do you believe that you need to understand something to love it?
Thank you so much for this question. Actually, when we talk about understanding, it's a different level. We have different level of understanding. But most important is to understand the basics. Like if you need to build something solid, you always need to understand the basic. Like if I love this building, I need to understand the designing, and also the shapes. And sometimes also I can find who designed this building, but I don't really need to know further. But if I can connect with the color and also the emotion, or maybe the building doesn't have emotion, like just the environment, then it will give me more information to decide if I love or if I don't love. And I think one of the things that people really think when they say understanding is also gathering information. So because when you gather information, you have data, you can decide how to organize these data. And sometimes you can find meaning inside this information. But for me, sometimes I love with my heart, but sometimes also I love with my head. So when I love with my heart, I don't need any sort of information. I just connect. And when I try to understand more details, information, then I'm always in my head. So I don't know for you, if I have to advise you, sometimes you have to balance your heart and your head. Thank you.
Okay, so I have another question. We have time. The last question today is a little bit of a philosophical one. Some people say that love is endless. Agree or disagree? That's up to you guys. My last question is for Lorraine. Come on. Yeah, perfect. Lorraine, come on. Do you believe that love is endless? Sorry.
Love is endless. I think with love, it can be timeless, but there can be fluctuations. So one day you might love one thing, but another day you might love something else. I think the people around you, there's somewhat of a constant on the people that you love. I mean, again, that can fluctuate. Sometimes people can annoy you, but yeah, I think love it's such a serendipity kind of topic. So I think, yeah, definitely love can have its fluctuations. I don't think anything in life is actually constant. So, and I think love there's love as well that isn't as constant. With love, I think we want it to be confident. That's our issue, rather than actually seeing the reality of love and how it can vary from time to time. 1 minute you might love one thing, like I said before, and 1 minute you might not like it as much. I think you need to balance out what you love. And I think love has such a broad term for lots and lots of people. So it's quite hard to justify as to what love actually is. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Guys, I made a whole sheet, so actually I'm endless, but I'll do one last one and that's it. I have, my mom and dad, they often say that they don't have favorites with their kids. We all know they're lying. My next question is for Fatima. Fatima, my question to you is, perfect. Who do you love the most and why?
This is not recorded, right? You mean my voice, right?
Up to you.
Well, obviously, I love them all. But to be honest, I love my cat the most. I mean, she's like a kid to me, and she doesn't give me hard time as much as they do. And they're now in this transitional age. They're 10 and 13, so every parent know what I'm talking about. Both of them are boys, fighting all the time. And the cat does help me with parenting, so she does scratch them every now and then. Of course, I love them to death, both of them. But sometimes I wish their dad is here to help, you know, because I'm an international student, he's not here, and yeah, I love them both. My eldest, now he's 13, he's giving me like the hardest time. So sometimes I started like questioning, maybe I don't love him as much as I used to do when he was a toddler, because he was like more malleable when he's a toddler and I can control them. The other one, he is turning 11 in May, so this is also questionable, but he's like more loving, always cuddly, always like he's acting like a kid. Yeah, that's it for the kids. Any other questions?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Fatima. I'm glad you're honest.
Thank you, Chair, for conducting such an amazing session. So this marks the end of the first session, table topics. I would request you to fill your feedback in this. Yeah, you can vote for.
We all have this?
In the bottom, there is the best table topic speaker.
Can we have the names of all the speakers, please?
Yes, I would request all the speakers to please stand up as their name is called on.
Okay, as a timer. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. As a timer, I'll be calling the names and the time. Can we all sit down? Then I'll call you one after the other. The first speaker for the night is a lovely gentleman, Mr. Lee. He spoke for 1 minute, 15 seconds. Yeah. Lola. There she goes. She spoke for 1 minute, 38 seconds. There you go. AJ. Can we stand up, please? 2 minutes, 2 seconds. She qualified. Yes. Next person, Subab. He just stepped out. He will be back in. Ray spoke for 1 minute, 1 second. Ortega, Ray, let's see you, please. Yeah, good. Ortega, let's see you next, please. Ortega spoke for 1 minute, 20 seconds. Luti spoke for 1 minute, 12 seconds. My lady, you love yourself more. Yeah, 1 minute, 12 seconds. Jamie, the handsome guy, spoke for 1 minute, 15 seconds. Eric, let's see. 2 minutes, 7 seconds. You qualified. Laba, you spoke for 1 minute, 38 seconds. You qualified. And the lovely Fatima, she loves the cats. 1 minute, 34 seconds. She qualified. Yes. You can only vote for those names being called. But if you were called on stage, you have the right to also vote for yourself.
Please share your vote.
Yeah. Yeah, you have more. There you go.
We can pass it.
So just the bottom side, just check out the aspect, which is ballot best table topic speaker. The bottom side, Yeah. Yeah, just try to tear it up. Tear it up this way. Oh. Then write who you think is the best table topic speaker. Thank you. There you go. Just complete that. Have you voted? Have you voted? This is Suban went out and is back in now.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have it.
Oh, I can write on my phone.
Okay, now we begin with the second part of the session. Second part is prepared speeches. The first speaker is giving his first speech in Toastmaster language. It is called icebreaker speech. So it takes a lot of courage. He has been preparing it for some time. I request Eric to be on stage and please give him a big hand.
Dear Toastmaster International, I'd like to invite you to a trip, to a journey. But you don't need to leave the room. Just sit in your imagination. So are you ready? So imagine living in a beautiful city and living in a nice house and having a nice car, good friends, making money. Everything is just the way you want it. How will you feeling living your life? I want you to go into your imagination and see this picture of you. Just some equation. Sometimes. Thank you, thank you. So that was me in 2010. I was living in Paris with my wife. I was working as IT consultant, making a lot of money. And when I have my first kid, I have to adjust my time to look after my son. I took 6 months of holiday. At the end of the holiday, I found that it wasn't enough to take care of my son. And there was a voice inside me saying, Eric, you have to do something else. Joe Page said, your inner knowing is your only compass. Your inner voice. I listened to this voice and I packed all my luggage, sold my car, sold my house. And with my family, I moved to Cameroon to reconnect to my roots. One decision. Life was really like a dream. Everything was going like I was in the moon, visiting the countryside, spending time with my family, with my siblings, and with my friends. So everything was like really like a dream. I wasn't expecting that. And also, I start my business. I was helping young entrepreneurs in their farm to transform their product into finished products and to sell them into market and shops. And this opportunity of helping this young entrepreneur really helped me to build my confidence, build my leadership and my entrepreneurship. And sometimes we need to connect to something more meaningful in order to create something significant in our life. That was in my case. I can tell you that it was like I was living in a different world. And after 5 years of running my business, guess what happened to me? I have to admit that I was failing. I lose all my capital. And the opportunity that I had at that time wasn't enough to cover all my bills. And one day, my daughter come to me and say, Eric, Dad, we don't have enough food. I say, what? What happened? I went to my bank account and looked at the money, and it wasn't enough to cover the week. And then I said, what happened to me? I started thinking, and I found that one thing that I was missing in my business, that I didn't have any mentor, someone to help me to grow my business. And I said to myself, if I have to continue my dream, I have to expand my awareness. So I start exploring new ways of thinking, and I joined a membership with my coach, my first mentor, Bud Porter, who mentored me and helped me to be a mentor, a coach. Then I realized that I'm good in mentoring. Then I said to myself, if I have to do that for the rest of my life, I have to build a foundation. Then I came to UK. I decided to come to UK to follow a course to become a coach, a leader, so I can help other entrepreneurs and leaders to get what they want in their life, in their business, without going through the same struggle that I went to. I had another mentor, a shaman lady from Burkina Faso living in the US. I joined her course to become a shaman. At the end of the course, I found that something was missing. There was a voice inside me saying, there's more for you. And Warren Buffett said, if you can't communicate, it's like winking a girl in the dark, nothing happened. So I said, I have to do something. And I started finding courses in line. I found one that was higher. I need to find something that I can build my foundation from scratch. And I found Toastmaster International. I also learned during this experience that I should never put myself down. Because someone said that when life knocks you down, if you can land on your back, try to look up, because if you can look up, you can get up and move on. So I decided to come to Toastmaster International to improve my English and my public speaking. And I have one question for you, Toastmaster International. What decision are you taking today to impact your future tomorrow? Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. The last question is something which I would take away from today's meeting. Our next speaker, I will call upon. Okay, before we move to the next speaker, I would request you to share your feedback in this palette. Please mention positive, then improvement scope in the comment here, and please share it with me. Yep. I still see few people writing their feedbacks. Right. Thank you for your feedback. Now we move to the second speaker. The title of this speech is very interesting and I can't wait to listen to this speech. I call upon stage Rais. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. When you see Manchester, what do you see? Do you see a thriving metropolis, or a city that is forward-thinking, progressive, or do you just see like rain 300 days a year, which is what most of us actually do see? All that's not the reality. That's not what Manchester really is. To understand Manchester, you've got to scratch beneath the surface, and you really got to go to the history, because what makes Manchester really great is its history, which is around every corner, around in lots and lots of buildings, and under the ground as well, actually. So Manchester gave the world a lot more than Oasis and Eccles cakes. So things like communism, the computer, the splitting of the atom, the suffragettes, all these things had their roots in Manchester. So what we're going to do today is, I'm going to give you a bit of a tour of Manchester. We're going to go for a walk. I'm going to take you to 3 places, and those places will hopefully explain a little bit about Manchester and help you to understand the city better, starting from now. So relax, you don't have to get up, you stay in your seat. So we're going that way. We're going all the way down Oxford Street. That's the first place we're going to visit, and we're going to go down Oxford Street, about midway down, and we're going to stop when we get to Oxford Street Station, and we're going to stand outside Oxford Street Station. What do you see? Not Oxford Street Station, because it's 1820. So it's 1820, and what you see is a slum, and that slum has a name. It's called Little Island. So, as I say, Manchester, it used to be an industrial powerhouse, probably the most prosperous, powerful city in the world, and you can't do that without a workforce. So the workforce that we had in our history were Irish people, and this city used to be full of slums. So Oxford Street, you don't see a train station 1821, you see a slum. And by slum, I mean an area that is infested with filth, detritus, open sewers, no sanitation, disease absolutely stinks, and you've got families living like in one room, 10 families that sleep on the floor. You've got criminality, the type that you can't even imagine. Industries like body snatching and cadavers are absolutely rife there. Island, that was all across this city back in 1820 and in those days. Progress came along, and those people, probably by force, got moved on. The whole slum got demolished, and all the slums got demolished, and then they built a train station, which is what you see now. So that's what you see there now. That's the first place that I want to tell you about, because you cannot build an industrial revolution without workers. And the workers that we had in this country came from Ireland, and they lived in the worst possible conditions that you can imagine. So the second place that we're going to go to is when you go out of the building, go straight down Cross Street. When we get to just before Victoria Station, we're going to take a left. I'm standing outside Chetham's Library, which is known to be the oldest library in the English-speaking world, whatever that means. So when you go inside Chetham's Library, it's a magical place. It's like going back in time by centuries. The original building came from the 1400s, but one thing you'll find is a desk there. There's a desk, there's an alcove. And that desk and alcove is where Karl Marx and his associate Friedrich Engels used to work. So the myth is that they actually drafted the Communist Manifesto here, and people say communism comes from Manchester. That's not necessarily true. One thing that's interesting is, how did they actually get here? So the way that they got here was Friedrich Engels was from a very, very wealthy bourgeois family, textile industry, and his family were sick of him getting involved in all of this socialism and protesting and troublemaking. So they sent him to Manchester to work in the family business. And he got worse. He got much worse, because he came here and he saw what the upper classes were doing to the lower classes and how much people were suffering here because workers were oppressed. And he spent 20 years here being, in effect, Karl Marx's researcher, and Karl Marx used to come and visit him. And this spot that I told you about in Chetham's library was a favorite spot. They may have drafted the Communist Manifesto here because the timing's absolutely perfect, because it was drafted around the time they used to sit and work on that desk, and they talked about the fact they used to sit and work on this special corner in the library, and you can go and see that corner now. So that's why often people say that communism comes from Manchester. May or may not be true, but it certainly has its roots here. So the final place that we're going to go to, we're going to come back from Cross Street, all the way up Cross Street, and we're going to go to come all the way up, and we'll be on Albert Square. And then when we get to Albert Square, we take a left and we look up, and what do we see? We see a huge building covered with a white sheet that is like, it looks like it's trying to look like a ghost or something. But behind that is Manchester Town Hall. So Town Hall, you don't see it at the moment, but the idea behind the town hall that we have now, there were many town halls before, was at the top of its game at that time. Around the world was flocking to. It had so much power, and they wanted to build a building, expenses spared, and as good as, if not better than, any building in the country, which I think they were talking about London at the time. So they built Manchester Town Hall, and if it looked grand from outside, when you go inside Manchester Town Hall, it is unbelievable. One of my stories about it is one time I was in there, I walked into the toilet, went into the toilet, just froze. It was like a palace in there. I couldn't believe the way it was laid out. I couldn't believe the detail. I stopped, I froze, and then I forgot, what I came for. Eventually, I moved on. But the place inside is absolutely amazing. It's a palace, and it just shows the ambition of Manchester at that time. I encourage you to go, because when you go inside there, the detail and the beauty of the place is absolutely amazing. So that's the last place on our tour. Like I said, Manchester, what you see today, to me, that's not what Manchester's about. Manchester's really, it's about its history. So there's a reason why Manchester has the word could be as its symbol and its emblem, and that's because of its history. There's a reason why 20 to 30% of the city will be of Irish origin and will have Irish names because of its history. Behind every corner, you'll find something amazing from the past. Below the city, there's a city in itself in terms of all the roads, streets, and underneath the ground. It was the centre of the revolution, and as I said, at that time it was considered it was the greatest city in the world. Maybe it isn't anymore, but it might be one day again. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Thank you for such an insightful session on Manchester. We quickly move to our third speaker. I would call, before we move, please share your feedback. I've shared it.
Put it up there. I think because I asked him yesterday. Why don't you put it now? I'll send it to you. So you can do that. So what's happening? I'm not gonna have a picture. So that I need to know what do I do?
Put the picture, right?
Hmm?
I don't think this is not what I get. You did tell me that to mail me, but I don't. This is going to put it.
So no picture.
No picture.
Okay, how nice.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this is like it, not 0.5. You want to keep that, or do you want it to be like?
Just do whatever you think is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is for your problem, right?
Yeah, well, ideally, next time, if I request them, try to accommodate it, because otherwise that ruins the idea. Yeah, I was thinking. No, it's fine, sure.
I believe all the feedback has been given now. We move to our third speaker. I would call upon stage Paul. Make a decision, ugly beginning and beautiful ends. I would call upon stage.
Right, I'm gonna put this here. Just let me know if you can still see the picture. Can you all still see the picture? All good, yeah? No problem. All right. Sorry for small size. Right. Right, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. Let me take a moment now. By the way, I'm not so worried for the people at the back there, more so for the people at the front, because you cannot just only see, but you could also probably smell. No, I'm joking. I can reassure you all, I washed my feet before I decided to do that right now, but I want to bring your attention to this shoe. This is a New Balance shoe, the latest model for lifestyle. Now, here is the first ever New Balance shoe for lifestyle. A bit of a difference, right? This model is not as flashy. It's not as, I suppose, well designed as the one I'm holding in my hand right now. Let me put it back on. And I know some of you are a little bit confused right now. Like Ali, Lee, he's probably asking himself a question. Paul, why are you giving us a lecture on shoes? Right? You're supposed to be reflecting on your Toastmasters journey as you're wrapping up with your level 5 project management pathway. Well, thanks for asking, Lee. In order for me to be able to tell you why I started talking about shoes, I want to bring you back to the 1st of March, 2021. That's when I signed up for Manchester Communicators and became a member of this club. Now think about tall, 6'3", handsome man who is strong on the outside, yet on the inside, he's trying to build that strength. As a matter of fact, he's trying to find his voice, because for so many years, he felt like he was less than others because of his speech impediment. Now, some of you might know this guy. As a matter of fact, you're looking at him right now. This is not Ola, by the way, although he's handsome. And this is not Julian, although he's tall. This person is me. Paul Donald Nkana. Let me emphasize this point once again. I was terrified of speaking in public. I remember the exact feeling when I first got on stage to give my table topic. As a matter of fact, it was online. And I remember how my armpits would sweat like the Niagara Falls. I remember how my vocal box would get clogged up because the fear wouldn't allow the words to come out. So I would sound something like this. You got the point, right? Now, fast forward 2 years. I'm standing in front of you here, wrapping up with my level 5 pathway, and I'm ready to move on. Over the past 2 years, I have delivered over 40 plus speeches. I participated in the international speech contest for District 40 last year in America, where I finished 3rd. I finished 3rd in the area contest for table topics last year. I delivered speeches in English, in Russian. I traveled all around the world with Toastmasters, online for now. And so far, I'm very proud of my journey. And what I think allowed me to get to the point where I am today is my decision making. And tonight, I would like to share with you the 3 pivotal decisions I had to make, which enabled me to get to the point where I am today. Are you all ready for this?
Yes.
All right. So the first decision was to show up and participate. And what I mean by that, right from the start, I said to myself, Paul, whilst you're here in this building, you must speak. Not you should speak, not if I get an opportunity to speak, not if Hammond will get me on stage to speak, I must speak. I really had to put it into perspective for myself. And I said, look, you're taking 2 hours out of your personal time. You pay for a subscription to be here. So you might as well just make the most of this opportunity. And that's what I did. Every time I came here, I got on stage and I spoke. The second decision was to find someone that I can look up to and seek mentorship from them. For those of you who don't know, I'm a member of 2 clubs. One of them is Dayton United Communicators in Dayton, Ohio, America. And the other one is here, Manchester Communicators. I have mentors in both clubs. And I have to give shout out to my mentor in the US, DTM Tracy Baker, who is not joining in right now, but he has put a lot of time and energy into my development and into shaping me as a speaker. And of course, I want to give a shout out to Ola as well for being my mentor here in this club, because he also poured a lot of time and energy into my development as a speaker too. And by the way, the mentorship doesn't just stop with these 2 people. I tend to learn from every single person in this community, because I truly believe in how I like to treat this community as a buffet. Has everyone been to a buffet before? Yes, you have, right? Normally, when you get into a buffet, you don't eat everything, right? You just pick or choose what food you want to eat on that day. And that's what I do with Toastmasters. When I'm here, I pick the best from every single person here. The reason being is because I don't want to be Ola, not to say that I don't like him. Neither I don't want to be Ray's, not to say that I don't like him too. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because if I choose to be like them, I can only be the second best version of them. Whilst if I choose to implement the best elements from each of you and put it all into one pot, I can be the best Paul, Donald, and Kana I can possibly be. Decision number 2, seek mentorship. And decision number 3 is to have a goal. Now, in all honesty with you, when I first entered Toastmasters, my only goal was to have a strong presence on stage and to be able to find a way to manage my speech impediment. But then with time, I quickly realized that I can really look past that. And as I started to come across different people within this community, I realized that some of us choose to do extra, perhaps go extra mile, coach other people, give keynote speeches, educational workshops. Essentially, they made it into a career. which they get paid for. And I look at those people and I'm thinking to myself, that's what I want to do too. Now, my goal has shifted and changed solely from a person who just wanted to be here on stage and have a powerful presence to someone who's working towards one day being paid for using his voice and using his story. Just to recap, the first decision I had to make was a decision to show up and participate. The second one was to seek mentorship. And the third decision was to have a goal. Now, let me bring your attention back to this picture again. Here we go. What you can see here, like I mentioned in the beginning, is the first ever pair of New Balance shoes for lifestyle, which is, I'll say, ugly. Here is one of the latest makes of the brand. Now, this used to be me at the beginning. Now, I'm shaping myself into something like this. So therefore, going away from this meeting tonight, I would like to ask you a question. What decision are you going to make? Have you made a decision to show up and participate? Have you made a decision to find a mentor here? Or have you made a decision to have a goal? Because one thing I can guarantee for sure, once you have those decisions made, the journey at the beginning will be ugly, just like this shoe. However, if you decide to stick with your decisions, with consistent and persistent effort, you can turn yourself into something like this. With that being said, my fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, choose to make the right decisions. Because if you do, one day, you can find yourself on the international stage of the world. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Paul, for such an inspiring speech. It was fantastic. Please, guys, share your feedbacks. This marks the end of second session. We now move to the last part of the agenda, which is evaluation. I would call upon stage Julian for table topics feedback session. Julian. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor, a privilege to be with you today.
let me dig into the matter that bring us here together. And it's table topics. I will evaluate every single one of you, starting with Lee. This guy is an experienced speaker. I don't know if you have realized 4 techniques he used when he stood up. First of all, he asked the question again to gain some seconds to think about what he wanted to say. Also, he tried to use the word of the day, serendipity. And I think that we all appreciate that effort. Again, third technique, he repeat, love to me, love to me, love to me. So that repetition is very powerful. Now, one thing that I would recommend, I said 4, I'm gonna summarize in 3. One thing I, however, found out is that you're a bit out of shape. He's really good telling stories, and this is a topic that will go to all of you, stories. You were lecturing us rather than telling us a story and let us draw the conclusion. I said, that's true. And you finish very abruptly. So, oh, that's all. We didn't see it coming. So good stuff there, but also things to improve. Loving Lola, over there, first time here, you were not expecting that and you were nervous, I can tell you. But you did very well. However, if you want to impress an audience like this, let me tell you something. Tell me who you are. Tell me about your life. I know that you work in a restaurant. What do you do special for the customer? Tell me about it. Connect with me. You didn't want to open up to us, which is understandable. Lots of people you don't know, you might be a bit scared. But also I saw it in your gestures, in your body language, and close, all into Uche, what did you do to me? I want to go. That's fine. The more you come over to this stage, the more comfortable you will feel. So please keep coming. Really good. You have a beautiful voice, I have to say. But again, you were very, very, very nervous. If you watch the video, you didn't move. This was all the movement you took. And your voice was projecting really good, but you would not move. You would refuse to move. Only this hand will touch sometimes your trouser. Okay. Anyway, again, the more you come here, the more natural, the more at ease you will feel. And again, tell me a story. Stories connect with everybody. Why Walt Disney is on top of the world? Why Pixar is so famous? Because they tell stories. We set up again. You have a beautiful story there. The love of your life, the problems you face after X amount of years together. So please tell me about it and stop holding the wall. It won't fall. It won't fall. Trust me. Rise. Advice for a true love. Very relaxed. Hands in the pocket, you know, I'm on top of this. To my taste, a bit too relaxed. Also, tell me a story. You have a beautiful message. Do not try too much. Do not try too hard. Do not try too seriously. Okay, tell me the story. And at the end, boom, you drop the message. If you tell me the message first and you do not link it with a story, it will be more difficult to remember. Ortega. First time here, you are natural man. You are very natural on stage. Your voice is good, your personality come across. However, I think you have a beautiful look or eyes looking. Use them. Look with intent to the people. Look not everywhere like this, as you were doing. You were all over the place. Focus on 1 or 2 people and give them love. G-L-E-V. Good pose. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to be here quiet, not saying anything. Seriously, it takes a lot of courage. Well done. Remember, history and all the stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Jimmy, you did very well. I can see your progress. he gained time saying, oh, it's a good question. And he was thinking. Then he said, hi, everyone. So more seconds on the bank so he could think. Again, use your eyes. Look with purpose, like I'm doing now. You can feel it. If you do it, they will feel it as well. Eric, this was the last. Gravitas. What a gravitas your voice has. However, that voice can be tamed, can be more powerful and drop it. But you have a really good gravitas. Love it. Lorraine, is love endless? It is indeed. But it's all now. Shout a bit and see, experiment with those kind of things. Don't record me. And the last one, sorry, the last one, Sophia. Sophia? Is Sophia? Is Sophia? Fatima, Sophia. Sorry, apologies. You connect with the audience because you were yourself. And that's very important. You didn't give a damn about anything. Say, who do I love more? My cat. You use the human and the honesty. And that's something that we all can learn from you. Now, again, I encourage you to keep coming here and speak more in front of the audience because I see a potential in you. It's down to you if you want to time it and convert it in a good tool for yourself. Thank you, Max. This is me.
Thank you, Julian, for such a detailed feedback. Now, I would request Lucy to come on stage. This is for Eric's icebreaker feedback.
So first of all, Eric, I thought it was a really, really good speech. So congratulations. So the things that I wrote was that you gave us a good, interesting kind of insight into your journey in business, and then kind of when you moved to England, and then the reason why you joined Toastmasters. So I thought it was a really good kind of narrative from start to finish about kind of your career so far, and then some of like the reasons, what are the things that you want to work on. So I thought that was really good. So I also wrote that, so your body language while you was up here was really good. It was really confident, really relaxed, really natural. You was also walking up and down quite a lot, which was good. And you was kind of making eye contact with everybody in the room. So I thought that was all amazing. The one thing what I could say to make it maybe even better next time would be kind of like what Julian said, kind of vary your tone of voice a little bit. So maybe it was good in some ways because you're so relaxed and so confident that I think you make everybody feel comfortable. But then maybe if there's some parts where you want to kind of push a point a little bit more, maybe pause a little bit for longer and then say it kind of in a way to create more impact. And well, that was the only thing that I could think of because it was a really good speech and everything was really natural, and yeah, you had really good body language. So it was a really good icebreaker speech.
Well, thank you, Lucy, for the feedback. Now I request Joseph, who has joined us from Zoom, to share his feedback for Rai's speech. Joseph,
Thank
can you
you.
hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was going to say, can I have a show of hands to see if everybody can hear me? But that would be a waste of everybody's time. So good evening, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. I had the privilege tonight to evaluate Race's speech. I love the title, On the Seventh Day, God Created Manchester. And when I went on to Easy Speak yesterday to see what kind of a role, what was available to me, I couldn't help but feel a sense of serendipity when I saw this particular line and title, because I used to own exactly the same t-shirt that had this same phrase on it. So thank you very, very much, Race. For a second there, I thought we were going to get a Manchester presentation, but that aside, let's get down to it. So this speech from Race was it was leadership and development, and it was researching and presenting. So what I was looking for was clear organization, some engaging transitions, and some uses of sources and source material. What was very, very clear from the outset is that Ray had done a huge amount of research into this. There was an awful lot of information there. It was clearly, he clearly put a lot of time and effort into putting this together. And it was a very enjoyable and informative speech all round. I really enjoyed the beginning of the speech with this huge amount of audience engagement right from the word go. And he said, what we're going to do today. Notice that he says what we are going to do today, not what I'm going to do, but what we are doing. So it includes everybody in the room and obviously myself on too. But it helps to immerse us in the story and the speech itself. It helps to bring us in there with Ray. And just staying on that idea of immersion, he then uses everything in the present tense. I don't know if anybody else picked up on this. And again, because he's using the present tense, it helps to bring the story more to life, because he's not telling something in the past tense. He's telling something as if you are there at that time. You're seeing the sights, everything that he paints, you're seeing it in your mind's eye and how it is coming across. I found the speech itself very, very interesting. There was a lot about Manchester that I had no idea about. So thank you for bringing all this to my attention. I had heard about the socialism side of things. I didn't know about Little Island, and I didn't know about the town hall. So very, very informative there. If I was going to provide some areas for improvement, I think the main thing was the position of the microphone, which for me was quite an intrusive thing. I could see that because he didn't have any pockets, he put it on his collar. And unfortunately, every now and again, I think his chin might touch the microphone, and there were parts of the speech that either I wouldn't hear or were slightly not made as clear, I suppose, for a better way of putting it. But it was difficult. It was very, very difficult for me to sometimes hear that, and it was enough for me to kind of put a bit of a negative spin on it. Not hugely, but maybe think in future, pick something else, pick maybe a shirt or something like that, but something that you can then pin it to. So that would be the main thing. The only other thing would have been time, and I think it kind of got quite close to the end, and he had to kind of wrap everything up quite quickly. So I think there are two things there, and I think you could link them both back to preparation ahead of a little bit of thought, perhaps beforehand, a little bit of planning, and those two things can be avoided. But overall, I thought it was a great speech. I was very, very, very intrigued by it all, and I loved the delivery. I thought it was a great way of doing it, a very original way of doing it, and I look forward to seeing more of these speeches in the future. So congratulations, Ray, and back to you.
Thank you, Joseph, for the feedback. I call upon Lee for Paul's speech.
Right, I think I know what I'm doing first thing tomorrow morning. I'm going to be out JD Sports going for those shoes. They're going to make me a better speaker. Paul, thank you very much for a fantastic and inspirational speech. I've known Paul for the best part of 12 months, 14 months now, and I met him at a Toastmasters meeting. And to hear his journey from where he was to where he is today, it's just a brilliant inspiration to everyone who wants to be a public speaker. He was willing to share that story with us, and he was very open in terms of where he was and where he wants to be. And the structure of his story was absolutely fantastic, because he used what we call in public speaking contrast, because he gave an example of the before version, and then he gave an example of the current version. Okay, so where he made a brilliant point was that also he created 3 takeaways, okay, 3 things that he's actually learned in his public speaking journey, okay, and he recapped them. So that I thought that was really, really great. The part of the story that I enjoyed really, really much is using his personal touch. He shared some personal examples of what happened when he was, the reasons and the motivation, what gave him the impetus to actually want to be a public speaker. So that was fantastic as well. The tone of voice, the engagement with the audience, and the preparation that he had. Did you notice that he actually unfastened his shoelace so that he could easily take off the shoe and actually show it to you time and time again? That is what you call preparation. And those little details actually make a huge difference into the flow of your presentation. So well done, Paul, for going and preparing every small detail in your presentation. The one thing I think that Paul could improve is that the takeaway message have one word that he could actually use to champion the whole speech. So the connection between the old shoe and the new shoe, that one word could have actually made that message very, very clear. It could have been something like constant and never-ending improvement, the commitment to that. Or it could be commitment to actually change, or the old you, okay, or is not the same as the new you, okay? So there's lots and lots of takeaways, but overall, fantastic story, Paul. And again, we are truly inspired by your journey with Toastmasters and where you are today from where you came. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lee. I would call Andre on stage for general evaluation. This is the last evaluation of the day. Thank you.
Right, my role is easy. I'm a general evaluator, calm and kind, but sometimes looks can be very deceptive. And I'm going to prove you how. My role is today to evaluate things that has not been evaluated yet. And nobody's going to evaluate me, so I can do whatever I like, and I'm enjoying it. Let's start with Ola, our club president. The way he opened the meeting, confidence, really encouraging, with all his big presence. He set clearly the agenda, what was going to happen. What I like, he mentioned about housekeeping. So if you need to use the toilet, is there. He brought it into the attention. And he told us quickly what was going to happen. Excellent and really positive. At the same time, my recommendation to Ola would be to address the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room, it was that noise, or that noise upstairs. Address it so we can all have a bit of laugh, and we're not going, some people here first time, they just, we're not quite sure what's going on, and then we can move on. Let's do it. Overall, really confident president, thank you. Toastmaster of the day, Herman. Wow, excellent again, positive, well-structured, and inviting. You felt really, I felt you were enjoying yourself. Just moving from one place into another, calmly introducing speakers. I really like the way you stood in the corner of the room and overseeing all the room and letting people take the main stage. I really enjoy that. At the same time, a recommendation, a small one, perhaps during the 1 minute pause that we have, when everybody signed the little pieces of paper, perhaps you could mention how important those little pieces of paper to the speakers, how they can really change someone's, not life, but at least improve their speech. So those little minutes of silence, find a little filler so the meeting can go a little bit smoother. And overall, your smile and your jokes, I think, really bring all that enjoyment into the meeting, the way I feel. Grammarian and the table topics master. Pucci, as a grammarian, double role, well done, introducing words of the day, table topics with that warm smile. I think you got the best smile in here, and that's to me anyways. You could beam it through. And the book you prepared, you had a prop. Can I borrow your book for a sec? Thank you. Just again, highly recommend it. It's all about love, bell hooks. It's certainly on my book right now. So thank you. Throughout prepared, calling all table topics participants on stage. That you felt good. And I could see it as well. A word of in recommendation, perhaps you would be encouraging speakers to use their time all the way through. Even if someone who is first time, for example, on stage, still encourage them. So yes, come on, you can do it. Speak a bit longer, and then take your opportunity to tell other people the same thing. So green light is just the beginning. The idea is just keep on going. Perhaps using a bit of that. Overall, great. Really enjoyed it. Thank you, Lee. Julian, table topics evaluator. Oh, that's theatrical, man. Oh, that's Spanish stallion. Again, that great energy you bring into the meeting and how you individually pick those positive and things to improve about every single person. You're here and then you're there and everybody just following you from place to place. So what I really like, you can keep the audience almost in your hands. At the same time, a word of recommendation, perhaps, especially for someone who speaks very, very first time, maybe paying less attention to their weak points and paying more attention to building their confidence up. They know, perhaps people know they're a bit like that and a bit of shy. It's not important. What's important is just what good, what amazing things they've done. Well done, and well done again. Just in an overall, you experienced speaker, you know what you're doing, just a few little recommendations anyways. Right, Julie, evaluator of speech number 1. Are you ready? Excellent, because one of the things I would like to say as an evaluator, when you feel confident and you're not rushing, everyone feels engaged and they want to listen to you. When you come on the stage, you came prepared. You already had amazing points noted in your notepads, and you explain things clearly, and there is nothing to add to it. I think, again, you were well prepared. One thing I would like to see in your next evaluations, slow down. Yeah. Take your time. You have that time, and use it. Sometimes saying less means to say more, especially to the speaker. Overall, yes, I could see you progressing from meeting to meeting. So well done on that. Joseph, second evaluator. Sorry, online. Yes. Joseph, wow, that was something. Very clear, spoken English. You gave commendations. Looks like you've been doing it for a quite long time. I could see the professionalism in what you do. At the same time, a point of perhaps recommendation, something to consider for the next time. I would personally like to see a little bit less about you, about how you found that an easy speak, how you try to do that, and maybe concentrating and giving more valuable points for improvements or commendation. Overall, you enjoyed it, so we enjoyed it too. And then Lee, right, our evaluator number 3. Lee, again, confidence, you enjoyed it, you gave those valuable points for the speaker. You were very attentive to the detail about taking the shoe off. And in your case, I really enjoy personal connection with the speaker. It wasn't about you and someone else. It was you and the speaker and your both journey. I think that connection just brings more spice into the meeting and your evaluation.
Points of recommendation I would like to make is perhaps look a little bit more to the right of the audience as well. I felt that that side of the audience was loved more. And I sat right there in the corner saying, look at me, please. Look, I understand it's the camera, it's the speaker there as well, but give me some love. Just one thing for the next time. Overall, I really enjoyed the meeting. And let's move on to the next president or Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Andy, for such a detailed and insightful feedback. I would call upon stage today's president of Toastmaster.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, if you've enjoyed yourself, can you jam your hands together again for our Toastmaster of the day? You do not know, it takes a lot of preparation to be able to organize, to stand here today as a Toastmaster of the day. So kudos for getting the job done. I believe we've listened to an icebreaker speech, and the Toastmasters will always give a ribbon out for the first speech you're giving or delivering on the stage. So I'm going to be calling on stage my great mentor, Lee. So please come present this to Eric. On delivering your first speech on this great stage. So for our guests, whenever you tend to deliver your first speech, it's called an icebreaker. So you're always privileged to get a ribbon all the way from Toastmasters International. Over to you, Lee. How does it feel delivering your first speech today?
I was a bit nervous, but because I prepare my speech, not in terms of repetition, but more emotionally, because I'm a very emotional person. Wow, sometimes my emotion goes up, so I need to calm myself down. So.
Whoa, thank you. And just to let you know, every great speaker you see standing here today or at any point always tend to feel nervous. But there are different techniques. We keep learning, keep practicing to be able to overcome that nervousness. And that's what our great speakers today have done. So round of applause for Ray again and for encouraging us. As we round up the meeting tonight, I would like to call on all our lovely guests to please come to the stage, please. All our guests, if you're here as a guest, please. Oh, table topic, winner. Do we have one? Okay, apologies. I need to ensure I recognize the best table topic speaker. We had so many guests that had the privilege of standing on this stage, which they did a great job. So please, your drum rolls as I call on the best table topic speaker for tonight. Drum rolls. Drum rolls. Where's he? The winner? Where is she? Where is he? Where is she? And the winner is Jamie. And you know what? I won't be doing this presentation by myself. I'll be calling the lovely lady who is a great member of our club, Lucy, to help me do this presentation. Do me the honor of presenting this to Jamie.
Oh,
wait, you give a speech.
Yeah.
How do you feel receiving this for your first time experience landing on the stage?
Yeah, do you know what? Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. It's one of those things. I think public speaking is terrifying to a lot of people. Like, you know, if I told you tomorrow, if you'd never done this before, you'd get up in front of everyone, you'd probably, for want of a better word. But yeah, no, getting being awarded that gives you a lot of strength and confidence to go and do it again. So yeah, looking forward to what the future holds.
And that is the beauty of a club we call Manchester Communicators Toastmasters Club, whereby we encourage each other to come around, keep learning, to be better speakers, and to keep improving in different ways. So, to all the first-time guests in this room, please come to the stage. First-timer, please to the stage. Hola! Fatima! Yeah. Yeah, to the stage. Well done. So we're just going to do it a quick one. Tell us what has been your highlight for tonight, your takeaway for tonight. Same question in different ways. And if you're going to join us or coming back.
Good night, everyone. Yeah, well, I came in here with sort of a blank slate, really, not expecting anything special. But immediately when I entered the door, the level of camaraderie, the level of support, audience support, I sort of immediately took that in, and I figured, you know what, that can be a very comfortable place for me. And it could be a place where I can certainly personally develop and truly progress this journey here in the public speaking world. So yeah, just the instant level of support from the audience. Yeah, that sort of took me in.
So are you going back?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. Well, I've been really impressed, considering, you know, all of you are really impressed with everyone. I don't know how you can find anything negative. And even these, I didn't know these were first time. Honestly, didn't know. I've got a lot of catching up to do. Yeah, but overall, yeah, I think I will be coming, and hopefully if I can get anywhere near this, I'll be really pleased.
Right.
When I walked in, I didn't really know what to expect, but it's been a very nice experience. I just expected more like a lecture type thing, but it's changed my perspective on things, and I'm really happy. I hope that I can come again and just practice more, come out of my shell. So yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'd say I felt a mixture of inspiration and hope. It's not at all what I expected, which I think is a really beautiful thing. And I actually didn't think I had any expectations. Turns out I did. But yeah, I'm gonna leave here and just feel, I think, excited and trusting in myself, and also really grateful to have heard everyone's experiences and their journey from where they were to where they've become. And yeah, I'm excited for that, for everyone.
Are you coming back?
Yeah, I'm going back.
Yeah, I definitely come back because I think I got a lot to improve. And I really enjoyed tonight.
Yeah, I'm coming back, hopefully. Well, I have some criticisms actually. It's a bit intimidating for beginners to talk about love first time. I think it's too personal. And I felt also a bit intimidated to talk in front of you first time. It does take practice, and this is what we're here for. So I was kind of hoping for tips, more experienced people talking first, first sessions, and then maybe giving us the chance. So yeah, that's it. Otherwise, everything, I feel there's a community here, and for a first time, it's good. It's good for me. So yeah, hopefully I'm coming back, and next time when I'm coming back, don't put me on the spot. I babbled a lot. I talked too honestly about my situation, motherhood situation. So yeah, it just maybe just give us more time to observe the vibe, and then give us the mic. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You can have your seat back, please. I love constructive criticism. And one of the things about Toastmasters is we want every guest to have a feeling of the part of the reason why they are in this room, which is climb to the stage, say anything, or even just stay here and just smile to the faces. It goes a long way. It helps you overcome, it helps you with your self-confidence and makes you feel, at least, even if I didn't speak, about the grace to stand in front of people and look at their faces. And those are part of the steps in overcoming the fear of the unknown of speaking. I always say it, every little stage or anytime any of us are on the stage, even the experienced speakers, there's always that nervousness in everyone. People just overcome it in different ways. Some overcome it by trying to smile. While they're smiling, they're scared and they're fine. Some overcome it by just being quiet for the first few seconds. And those are techniques we all keep learning in a platform like this. But that's taken on board. And next time, I need to promise you, you're going to speak on the stage again. But the beauty about this platform is it's a lovely environment whereby you're being supported. You're not being criticized to the extreme. You can always grow and always keep learning from different people. So at this junction, our next meeting is going to be on the 27th of February. You all have a right to please keep attending as long as you want. And if you want to join us as a member to be able to benefit more from how we keep growing, see our Vice President membership, Mr. Reyes, over there, please. And at this junction, I say goodbye to you. Feel free to network, make friends, and be in the team of finding true love, as said by the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you so much. The flower. I thought you were going to give the flower. I thought he was going to give this out to somebody, but unfortunately, he's taking his own.
I said I got it for myself.
So thank you so much, everyone. Please, if you have any questions to join us, see Ray or myself or Julian or anybody or Paul. Please connect, make friends, and don't just leave here without connecting to somebody. Like Fatima, what's the name of that lovely cat? What's the name of that lovely cat? We see. Good. So I know the name of the cat. Nice meeting you, and thank you so much, Fatima. Grace, you got our details? Our details? Thank you so much for your feedback. Grace, big congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for always coming. We appreciate it. And please feel free, if you want to join, just see Grace to give it the details. And thanks for allowing.